Hello my friends and welcome to Pathfinder Kingmaker. It's Pup Smurf's magical adventure. Okay, so here's the thing. Most of you guys know me from my hardest difficulty playthroughs and challenge runs. And so, when Pathfinder Kingmaker won the vote to be the next game, you know, my expectation was that you guys wanted to see another hardest possible playthrough, min-maxed characters, you know, all that good stuff. All the usual D&D tropes. Cloud kill, grease, you know, stacking on Armoured AC. All the things that make ridiculous D&D characters. Because I don't actually think that D&D is the greatest system for video games on Earth. But I put forward an idea. I said to you guys, what if we played a non-optimal character on a normal difficulty instead of a hardest difficulty character that's gonna have to be min-maxed by the nature of it being D&D? And, well, I closed the vote early because it was so one-sided as to be unbelievable. You guys really wanted to see something non-optimal and quirky rather than me being forced to min-max by playing on the hardest difficulty. And then, so I got plotting. I got thinking. And I thought back to, so those of you who know me for Battletech, there were a lot of arguments on Battletech back in the day about weapon viability lists. All the guides had these weapon viability lists and they were like, yeah, these weapons are viable, these ones are not viable, blah, 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 blah. And I just thought this was a load of nonsense. And one thing that all the guides agreed on was that the AC2 was not viable. So I opened up my old YouTube channel and I did a playthrough in terrible quality using only the AC2. I beat the whole game and put that argument to bed because it was a game of skill, not a game of Battletech is a game of skill, not a game of builds, really. And so I thought, well, what could I do in D&D that is similar? So I went on NeoSeeker and I found this guide that's highly recommended by the Reddit community around Pathfinder. Also the top Google result. Made by, I think there's a guy called Chomon and In Effect. I might be getting the first name wrong there, but anyway. There's one of these glorious ranking lists which we just love to see in guides. We have very Japanese style, Toho style, SS and S grade characters or builds, and then we have A, B, C, D, no E because we had to stuff S in somewhere, and then F, with F being described as unusable. So then I scrolled down the list, and the first thing I found was Armoured Hulk, F. Armour doesn't make you tank better if you don't have a lot stacked on top, and heavy armour is not the way to go about it regardless. I thought to myself, excuse me, this is the most D&D statement I've ever seen in my life. Armor's not how you get heavy armor. Of course it isn't. Why would that make any sense? Why would heavy armor give you armor protection in D&D? What was anyone thinking when they thought that having armor would provide them with armor? Everybody knows that the way you get armor is you strip down to your underpants and then you stack like monk, rogue, ranger, and various other classes, probably like alchemist or whatever. You just stack perks in D&D that add dodge bonus and armor class to unarmored characters, and walk around like you're a tank, basically, while being completely naked. Because of course that's how you do it. What? You know, how dare you think that plate mail provides more protection than being completely naked? You know, it's you're spitting in the face of years of D&D heritage. And so the adventures of Papa Smurf, the Armoured Hulk, begins. We're going to be exploring the absurdities of the D&D system. Okay, so I put the difficulty on challenging because it's the closest to normal D&D that there is. For some reason, normal actually has somewhat easier enemies, which it doesn't really say what that means, and 0.8 damage to the party. Whereas challenging has got somewhat tougher and 1.0, so that seems normal. So that's what we're going with. And then, of course, we got the guy who looks most like Papa Smurf, which looks... This is like Papa Smurf, the early rock days, I guess. But it's the closest we've got. Unfortunately, we cannot make a gnome blue. But we can make a tiefling. I think that's how you pronounce that. A tefling? Teflongling? We can make a devil blue. So it's Papa Smurf the Devil. It is. I'll try and minimize the horns a little bit. Let's get that grey. Can we get grey? Is that grey? I don't think we really have a grey hair color here that we can get away with. I guess this is kind of the closest we're gonna get. Papa Smurf. But then, so here we go. Barbarian, Armoured Hulk, of course. Our great F character. And I saw this. Motherless. So, no woman survives the birth of a babe who's, I think, Glipoth, but we're going to say Smurf from now on. No woman survives the birth of a babe whose Smurf ancestry has emerged. Sorry. At best, Smurf spawn rip their mothers apart during labor. At worst, they tear themselves out even earlier. This explains so much about the Smurf Village, doesn't it? No wonder the one female Smurf whose name I forget. No wonder she treated all the male villagers like an existential threat. It makes perfect sense. Of course it does. Now, of course, Papa Smurf is quite charismatic and knows a fair bit about mushrooms, of course. And he is not unintelligent, so we're going to bring that up. He's also quite persuasive at times, but he is not very perceptive, I wouldn't say. Amusingly, I'd say he's got knowledge about the world, but unfortunately, there's no... you can't really take non-class skills in D&D. It just doesn't work, so... I'm not going to totally destroy myself here by making a character that makes absolutely... that absolutely doesn't function, but we'll be close. You got to keep in the spirit of the Smurf Village. Okay, so that leaves us with 21 ability points. We're not going to have any min-maxes, so we'll stick to 16 as our highest score allowed. I guess we'll add some dexterity. Because why not? Oh, we could make him smarter. We could make Papa Smurf smarter. I think we can still do that anyway. Actually, let's make him more charismatic. Papa Smurf is more charismatic than a mere than a mere 12. Of course, these stats make no sense from a min-max perspective, but hey, it's not about having a good character. It's about sending a Smurfy message. Okay. What do we choose as our feat? What feat makes sense for Papa Smurf? Extra rage. Papa Smurf is very quickly becoming the Incredible Hulk here. Since our armor is definitely not going to protect us, we can always go for toughness. HP stacking is actually really bad in D&D, so that's precisely why I'm going to go for it. The correct move, if there was a correct move for wearing heavy armor and expecting to actually be armored, is to take armor focus. And we might take armor focus later, but for now, let's just take hit points, because why not? It's Papa Smurf! Now, of course, as is with most D&D games, being lawful good unlocks all kinds of wonderful items. If you're willing to tolerate, which most people are, along with their lawful good, angel spawn, angel king, angel kin, like, you know, all the extra stats, min-maxed characters. They also run lawful good so that they can cross-class paladin and all that good stuff. But of course, lawful good is not even selectable for a devil. you can't be lawful as a devil, so that's good. To be fair, I guess like Papa Smurf is kind of a neutral force. I wouldn't say that he is good or bad. He is often the antagonist in the show, but sometimes he's the good guy.
Damn it all.
And he is grumpy. Of course he's grumpy. Do you know, for a laugh, I thought of giving him a female grumpy voice. Oh, there isn't one. Oh, apparently women can't be grumpy.
With grace? Careful now.
Wow.
That's what you get.
Wow, I'm actually offended by that. What glorious sexism in my game. Okay, fine. I guess there's no way to... Okay. There's no way to set a real birthday here. Isn't he like the 23rd of April, which is like the 6th? I can't remember. I can't remember when this guy's birthday is. I could look it up. Okay, I'm not that interested in looking it up.
Not that I care.
We're ready to go with Papa Smurf, a grade F unusable character who we have not even bothered to min-max. With an AC of 11. Glorious. I think you can probably get an AC of 18 as a monk, even at level 1. Oh, but you get to stack your armor AC on top. Except you lose your dex AC while you're at it, so... Oh man, armor in D&D makes no sense.
The mansion of an Aldori sword lord. Drawn by the promise of a most dangerous task and a commensurately huge reward. Heroes of all stripes gathered here.
Okay. Well, the game looks great so far.
Where are they? This is taking forever. Didn't even say what this was for, just that the Aldori were looking for heroes. Who are the Aldori anyway? Rich folk?
The Aldori? Those are 99% of all the characters on YouTube because they're the most optimal ancestry to pick.
Keeping you here. Just go back to your mountains or whatever hole you crawled out of.
Well, it's actually Asamari, I think.
School for the dueling arts. They're also the richest and most influential group in this part of Brevor.
Asamari, Angel King, Angel Kin.
Pretty quickly.
All right, you purple toad, just shut your trap. And if you can't, I'll help you.
All right.
Hush! Quiet! They're coming.
They're coming! Papa Smurf's gonna rule the kingdom one day. Just you watch. This is Papa Smurf, the early years.
Greetings, everyone. I am Sword Lord Jamandi Aldori, and this is Lord Mayor Yosef Salimius.
Jamandi Aldori.
Welcome to my mansion.
We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for responding to our call. You may be few, but that's unavoidable. We need only the best of the best for this task.
Well, you're not going to get that.
Strong and fearless. Exactly what Restov needs.
You're not going to get that.
Now, to the point. South of here, just beyond Brevoy's border, lies a region known as the Stolen Lands. This is disputed territory, and while it's long been claimed by nearby states, it's never been truly taken. I won't bore you with the legal technicalities.
Okay.
Suffice to say that anyone with enough courage and power to seize the stolen lands and name themselves Baron or Baroness, claiming dominion, well, none of the neighboring states would be able to challenge it. Of course, Restov would be first to recognize the legitimacy of this new state, as well as the noble title of its founder.
Papa Smurf in the Smurf Village! Yeah! Let's go.
Unfortunately, one serious obstacle stands between you and this title. A gang of bandits holds sway in the Stolen Lands. Their chief, who they call the Stag Lord, considers himself the rightful owner of these lands, and no one has yet been able to challenge his power. Bring me his head, and you'll be able to return to the Stolen Lands as their legal ruler. Any questions?
Any questions? Yes, there's a whole team of us. How are you going to spin it so that I get the title? Because
I will, of
we
course.
wouldn't have a
I'm
game
the
if
leader of this team,
the main
after all.
character didn't end up
Don't
with the
worry,
land.
though. I'll make it worth your while to help me.
We haven't yet begun, and you already speak of divvying rewards. What makes you think we'll even succeed? There's little point arguing over who gains the title when we'll most likely lose our lives there.
Whoa, that's pessimistic.
If I may please answer the question. We
Bum,
believe
bum,
you're
bum,
all
bum, bum.
equally deserving of a noble title. Over the course of your expedition, it will be up to you as a team to decide which of you is best suited to rule.
Yes, of course. Which is exactly why, as the game goes on, everyone will suddenly decide that Papa Smurf is truly the leader that we all need. Irrespective of his stats, class, talents, or alignment. Why not just
That's a
recognize
good
the
point.
Stag Lord as the Baron?
As I see it, this Stag Lord already holds power over the region with confidence. Many noble bloodlines were started by bandits who just got lucky, weren't they?
Perhaps because we do have standards to maintain.
Standards.
This room has seen many celebrations of adventurers, and even those who just got lucky. But giving a noble title to a bandit lord? That's one thing that's never happened here, and it won't while I still breathe.
Okay. I guess you won't be breathing for long. Potentially.
Don't ask stupid questions. Why should you even care? What they have to gain and why, that's for Lady Aldori and I to discuss. It's none of your concern.
Wow, this guy's an
Your only
ass.
concern is to swing your sword around or whatever it is you do.
I sure hope you're a bad guy, because I can't wait to
Of
kill
course
you.
we stand to benefit from this enterprise. But if you're concerned that we intend to rule your country from afar, using you as a front, well, please know that these concerns are unfounded. Let's just say that we have a strong interest in the region's stability. We have need of a ruling power we can negotiate with, not bandit gangs and monster hordes.
What the hordes?
Smell in the air. Is it the smell of unspoken words and political intrigue?
Well, the lie detector has detected the lies.
And what reward would you seek beyond a noble title and your own lands?
We'll absorb the costs of preparing and equipping your expeditions. Once you return victorious, Restov will also allocate you a significant sum to provide financial support for you to establish your country. Essentially, we'll help you build your capital. I hope such a reward is satisfactory.
Words, words, words. Significant, financial. I can't fill my belly with pretty words.
I don't think you'd be filling your belly with much of anything, to be honest, because you're quite obnoxious. Oh!
Of course. There will also be an official banquet held in your honor. All of Rostov's high society will gather to celebrate your feat.
Now you're talking.
It's as clear as day.
Venture forth tomorrow. For now,
We're gonna do the dirty work.
To get to know one another better. Or you can head straight to your guest rooms to get some rest. You'll find we've already prepared supplies for you there. And thank you again for agreeing to take part in this expedition. I wish you luck.
Thank you again, with all my heart, for replying to this call. The flare in your eyes reveals your courage, the unshakable will that distinguishes true heroes. I look at you, O champions of Rostov.
Oh my
and
god,
doubt
this
not
guy.
for a second that you'll be victorious. So venture forth toward your feet. Go and return in triumph.
There's one reward. That's going to encourage
My
teamwork.
name's Lindsay. I'm a bard, though this is my first real adventure. So, shall we go teach this stag lord a lesson?
Oh. It's Lindsay, spelt, like, just wrong, frankly. But hey. Hi, I'm Papa Smurf. Pleased to meet ya. That sounds like something Papa Smurf would
I
say.
wanted to ask you something. How do you feel about this Tartuccio fellow? I think he's pretty obnoxious, personally. He appointed himself head of the team, and he's just after the Baron's crown, or whatever it is barons wear. Doesn't matter. I don't like him. I think you should be team leader. When I first saw you, I couldn't. Now here's a real hero. Someone who'll be praised and praised.
It's a real... When I first gazed...
I'll write my book about.
When I first gazed upon your horrendous giant blue visage, I thought, wow, there's a real hero. Yeah, this is nonsense.
Let me explain. You know what the trouble with most
We're not going to be able
heroes
to get rid of
is?
this
They're
character.
always written years later, based on the tales of, best case, people who saw things from the outside. Worst case, someone heard about it from their brother, who heard it from their friend, who heard it from their cousin, and so on, adding a new batch of lies each time. Every time I read about a heroic journey, I think to myself, why didn't they just bring a bard with them to write it all down properly?
Why is there always, like... there's always some insane scribble character that you can't get rid of in every game. That's there to write things down for you.
And then I thought, I could be
The
that
same thing
bard.
happened in
I just needed to find a suitable hero and volunteer
Tyranny.
to follow along on their glorious adventure. A great plan, huh? And here we are, with a heroic journey lying before us. Who's going to be the hero? Some dwarf who keeps muttering about how we'll all die? Or maybe that horrific scythe lady? Or, God's forbid, Tartuccio? No way.
You know, the way she's talking, man, I wouldn't be surprised if she dies halfway through the game. She's entirely too chirpy and optimistic to live in the grim, dark universe of Papa Smurf. What about the barbarian? She looks pretty heroic. Ironically, since we're both barbarians, this seems correct.
She's fantastic. You can tell she could tear a bear's head off with her bare hands, but she kind of scares me just a little. But, I mean, her sword's twice as big as I am. She could cut me down without even noticing. Just think on it a bit, alright? I'm sure you'll agree.
Okay.
Alright, I'm going to my room to write about tonight. See you in the morning.
The first step on the road to glory. It did not give us time to actually read that, but okay. I don't think that there's anything actually in the hall. Just out of interest, since I can. Turn-based mode engaged. Apparently, according to you guys, turn-based mode was tacked onto this game, so it'll be interesting to see if it works properly.
Help! Help!
Help! Help! It's the sound of the police.
The mansion's under attack. We need to help. Some villains broke in and started killing everyone. I barely made it. Hurry, we have to help the guards fight off the attackers or we'll all be cut down one by one.
Wow, you're awfully full of fear for someone who's meant to be an adventurer. You do realize that, you know, you're basically being contracted to go out and kill a bandit lord and a horde of bandits, right? Wah! Wah! You're not going anywhere.
Entertainment!
Entertainment! Give Papa Smurf a big hug. Oh! Okay, well, we gave him a big hug. We come equipped with a sword and shield as standard for our armored Hulk, and some scale mail. What do we got here? Okay. Okay.
Will this ever end?
That guy got gutted in his sleep. It's Lindsay. Lindsay Lohan! Loot.
Not that I care.
And what shall I do with this one?
Time to stretch me muscles.
Okay. My bar seems to be broken. I seemingly cannot do anything. Okay, I had to toggle turn-based mode on and off. So we've already found a turn-based mode bug. Come, give Papa Smurf a big hug. Wow, he's got an AC of 2, and I managed to roll a 1 there. Wow, the bard bagged one.
Out of my way.
You're just in time. A bit longer and I'd have been... Whew, I don't even want to think about it. Can you imagine what a terrible loss this would have been? But it's all right now. I'm safe, sound, and unscathed, ready to lead you to victory.
Oh my god.
Lady Jamandi's holding the line in the banquet hall. You know, the one where she had us gathered before. We need to make our way to her. And along the way, we'll try to save some of these dummies who are supposed to accompany us to the stolen lands. Speaking of dummies, take this ring. Quiet now, so that little fool doesn't hear us. She might try to steal it herself. It's magical. It'll protect you.
It's magical.
You work to defend me.
It's a +1 ring. It is a +1 ring. Of course it's a +1 ring. What a D&D trope.
Follow me, or don't.
Follow me, or don't. Companions. Okay, that's fine. Okay, nothing else around here. Let's move.
You here.
Dudes. Time to give Papa Smurf big hug.
They dare to attack me?
Okay, I did not get a surprise attack there, so I guess you can't just... Probably have to be in stealth mode or something to actually get surprise attacks. Although, it does look like we are going first, at least. Ooh. Big angry scream. I'm too far away.
Leave this one to me.
Chilling. Inspire courage. +1 morale bonus on saving throws against charm inferior. +1 competence bonus on attack and weapon damage rolls. Begin the singing. I'm going to presume that that only works on enemies that are knocked down.
I don't like you.
I don't like you.
Just die already.
Grow claws. What? You can grow claws as a free action. These claws are treated as natural weapons, allowing you to make 2 claw attacks as a full attack using your full base attack bonus. Okay, that's random. Isn't this guy a... isn't he like a mage? What is he? He's a sorcerer, but for some reason sorcerers can grow claws? Okay. So basically this feels like a class that you almost would dip just to get that on your insane melee build. Alright, nothing further to do here. Let's go, Pop Smurf. Alright, we managed to roll the dumpster fire there. I'm not actually getting an opportunity attack there, so I should actually readjust my character so it's closer. Wow, she screamed him to death. Slanesh would approve of that.
I'll split you in.
Oh, there we go.
I don't need anyone's sympathy.
He doesn't need anyone's sympathy. Just their health potions. Anything else in here? Is there a button to highlight interactables? We'll have to test it. Tab, quite a normal button for highlighting interactables. Let's have you guys actually, you know, catch up. This like spinning, these spinning indicators remind me of Planescape.
And so they walked on.
Planescape used these. Hide armor, heavy mace. 1 to 8 slashing. 1 to 8 bludgeoning. Okay, nothing exciting there. Let us move on. Oh no, is everyone dead?
How much longer, I wonder? Now what?
Now what, says Papa Smurf. Okay, nothing else in there. Blood for Gorum!
It's the end for you rats!
And not corn.
Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration.
Are you writing a BL or what? Guess we might as well start with that, right? Out of range. What about old magic missile? There we go. Wow, she just wrecked that guy.
It's no use.
I cannot charge because it's not a straight line. When enraged, Barbarian gains +2 melee, +2 damage, +2 weapon rolls, and -2 to armor class. Seems reasonable. I don't think this character can do anything at range, so
Out of my way!
might as well just close the distance. Fire!
Serves you right.
Oh, it's you. Stay out from under my feet or I'll strike you down.
Alright.
Blood for Gorum!
Barbarians.
Barbarians!
That's exactly how heroes should be.
What, stupid, sweaty, and always looking for something to gobble up or lop the head off of? Calistria, save me from such heroes. This works for me.
Let us move on. Gods! Well, they're about to die horribly. Oh. I was kind of expecting him to just do a great big axe swing, but okay. Kind of cold works too.
Not that I care.
Ah, the exit. Yeah, I guess it's not allowed, huh? This passage is blocked. I mean, why would you chase after what appeared to be a frost giant or some kind of summon anyway? Get your ass wrecked.
All according to plan.
Okay, so there must be. Aha!
Their sight betrays them.
There must be stealth.
Time's wasting.
Now we can trigger the fight from stealth. Which in theory should let us go first. There we go. There we go. Ugh. Papa Smurf, man, you're letting me down here.
Time to get my hands dirty again.
Okay.
I don't like you!
Man, I'm not hitting, am I? I'm really not hitting at all.
You deserved it.
Where's your min-max when you need it? She's chaotic, good, and covered in ink. Okay, there's not really much to say here. Just throw ice at people. Well, I hit him.
Any last wishes?
And he's toast. Gotta see if we can find some way to compensate for Papa Smurf's terrible chance to hit.
Anything else?
Never a dull moment.
Give.
What have we here? This chest is full of gold. I guess it's for the guards' salaries, all things considered. Well, those freeloaders don't seem to have been working too hard for it. Maybe we should pocket it instead.
What? No, we're heroes, not thieves.
Who said we were stealing it? We'll just take the gold for safety so the assassins don't get it. And then we can heroically return it to Jamandi when this is all over.
Gold. I don't think Papa Smurf is too interested in gold.
How would she know it was us and not the assassins? Unless someone planned on telling her.
Don't drag me into this. You do what you want, but I'm not taking a single coin.
Don't drag me into this. They're after me pot of gold.
I always have a second plan.
Let's not annoy our employer before we've even begun. This is such an obvious trap to take the gold. Scale mail 5. Banded mail 7. Breastplate 6. Armor check penalty -6. Max dexterity 1. Like, yeah, here we go. This really sums up the problems with this game. Here you have armor that's armor class 6. And then the max dexterity is 3. So if you've got dexterity, this armor provides 9 AC. But this armor provides 7 plus 1 max dexterity. So the highest protection that this armor can give is 8. I'm not quite sure what this armor check penalty is either. So depending on your build, adding armor reduces armor class for most characters. Because, you know, of course it does. We're already up to 21 AC, which is actually pretty crazy by D&D standards. But hey, I've only got 1 dexterity anyway, so... Right, we are super encumbered, so we had better get rid of some stuff. I guess we cannot use this. And it also has a value of 7 gold, so that can just go, because it's very heavy. £30 and a value of 12, £10 and a value of 1. Okay, they can all go. Don't know how much their values translate into actual sale prices, but you know, anything that weighs, you know, more than £1 and is only worth 1 gold can definitely go. A light shield. Let's get rid of that as well. Value to weight is quite poor. We're still heavy. Although I don't know how much that affects you in actual combat, because everyone's actually marked as being light equipment-wise. At least for now. What's interesting is, where is all this weight coming from? I guess it's from the chain shirts and stuff. Okay, the money to weight ratio on that's pretty bad as well. Let's just get rid of that. That'll do.
Not that I care.
Okay.
Oh, familiar faces.
Familiar
I know
faces.
you're not so frightened as to swing at every shadow. It's me, Jaethor. I don't recommend advancing down the hallway, assuming you value your life, of course. There were a few people with me, and you can see what happened to them.
And just how did they all end up dead while you don't seem to have a scratch?
I'll answer but briefly and just once. Further scares and explanations will wait until we aren't being hunted by a group of assassins. Deal? All right. I'm undead. These traps are deadly to the living, but they're harmless to me.
She's undead.
What do you mean?
She's an undead elf.
Really? Like zombies or skeletons or...
As I said, further explanations will wait until later. All you need to know right now is that we're on the same side, and we have to fight off a small army of hired assassins. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. We're gonna get it done, so I can build my Smurf Village.
What's over there? Nah, I don't want to know.
It's a trap. That's what's over there. Beads and gold. I tell you what, the level design is actually really beautiful. I mean, they've definitely put a lot of effort into this first area. It does look really good, I have to admit.
Adventures call to them.
Okay, she can disarm.
I deserve better.
And so can he. Who is better? Abilities? Trickery 2. Okay, Lindsay has a 7, so...
I wrote it like I saw it. Applause, please.
No.
I see something.
No applause.
Applause, please. Would you look at that?
Okay. Chainmail. And a foe shard, whatever the hell that is. An exotic melee weapon.
My patience is running thin.
I don't think anyone on my team could use exotic.
Anything else?
Which is unfortunate because that is actually a damage upgrade. For pretty much anybody. She uses a scythe. A masterwork scythe. She's also quite strong and quite wise. Scroll of Expeditious Retreat. Okay. Okay. I don't think Papa Smurf can use scrolls. Since he's about as magical as a he's about as magical as a postage stamp. What are you dallying for?
Entertainment.
Oh, she gets to go first. Wow, that's a lot of abilities that she has. Healing. Okay, that does not cost me a turn or anything. Okay, they're both melee, so I guess it's better to just let them come to us. And then smash them.
I'll split you in half.
Okay, that was a fail. Well, I mean, we hit him once. Good old D&D. What do we got? Divine Favor. Not affected by target spell resistance. Inflict light wounds.
Unworthy.
Wow, she cut his ass down. Of course, at this early phase in any D&D game, it's just pure luck.
This is where I step in.
Roll 20, people die. Roll less than 10, you miss.
Out of my way!
Oh, I rolled a 1 and then a 2. So hopefully, another 18 rolls and we'll be getting somewhere.
Wretched things. Ask. Request. Speak.
Ask, request,
State your
speak.
desire.
Oh,
You have my attention.
can we just
Share
keep
your
clicking on
will.
her until she goes mental?
Request. Speak. Ask. You have my attention. Share your will. Request. Speak. Ask.
Oh, some games, if you click on someone enough, they go crazy.
I appreciate privacy.
I will grant your request.
You know, if I could click you, you wouldn't know a moment's peace. Okay, that's it for now. This is the end of Papa Smurf's adventures for now, because we're coming up to time. But I hope that you guys will enjoy what is going to become a long, perilous,
I
and
don't need anyone's sympathy.
deeply under-optimized adventure. And I will see you guys next time.